Welcome to the Sunday service of CSLN. We are a welcoming and inclusive community of inspired individuals caring for and about each other and the entire planetary family. The Center for Spiritual Living Nashville offers spiritual tools for anyone seeking a deeper connection with God, Spirit, a higher power, or universal truths. Be sure to subscribe below if you enjoy our programs. Now please enjoy today's service.
Good morning and welcome to CSLN and our morning online service. It's our Sunday broadcast. We're looking forward to giving you a wonderful service today, and we're so glad you're with us. We have a great program. We're featuring the message from Reverend Dr. Jim Lockard, and we have music by Antoinette Olson and Gabe Berdelis. Now here's Antoinette, and our music director, Larry, will be joining them.
Thank you, Gregory. I got a call from Antoinette this week telling me that my music is too quiet. We need to pick it up. So you could set it up.
Gabe and I wrote this song, and the impetus for it is I have this little plaque that says, "Always believe something wonderful is about to happen." And so I think what you notice and what you look for, you find.
Go.
Every corner, downtown streets, flowers growing between concrete. You might just miss it, rushing by. If you slow down and take your time, good thing gonna happen to you. Oh, good thing gonna happen to you. Like a cloud with the sun shining through. Good thing gonna happen to you if you want it to. Oh, just when you think you're out of luck, losing hope, goes a long, long way. Might not happen right away. Oh, but a little bit of faith goes a long, long way. Good thing gonna happen to you. Well, good thing gonna happen to you. Instead of a storm coming out of the blue. Good thing gonna happen to you. Good thing gonna happen to you. Oh, good thing gonna happen to you. Like a cloud with the sun breaking through. Good thing gonna happen to you if you want it to. Oh, oh, oh. Every corner, downtown streets, flowers growing between concrete.
Antoinette and Gabe and Larry, and that's Michael over there on the beatbox. We're so glad to have you back. Lovely. Okay. Good things are going to happen, and we're excited about that, and we're excited to make that happen in our own lives. I would like to welcome now to the stage our practitioner extraordinaire, Carl Franklin, who's going to do for us a reading and our opening treatment. Carl.
Good morning. We're so glad you're joining us today. We have such wonderful things going on here. And this reading that I wanted to read to you this morning is from John Waterhouse's The 5 Steps to Freedom. I have read this book through and through. If you're able to, get a copy of it. The simplest, most effective way I have found to identify the truth in challenging situations and circumstances is to express authentic gratitude. When I open my heart widely and trust that my life is a perfect expression of spirit, I cannot help but see myself in the purpose and the meaning of my life more clearly. Our gratitude, in a powerful way, allows us to see the value in any situation, no matter how difficult or troubling it may seem. When we experience a catastrophic circumstance in our lives, our immediate reaction will want to be for the problem to go away. Yet, within these circumstances, the deepest meanings and the most profound understandings of life always reveal themselves. When we express authentic gratitude for the conditions, circumstances, and relations of our lives, we open ourselves to more fully seeing the gifts of spirit that surround and permeate our every moment. When we practice spiritual mind treatment, we recognize the presence of spirit. We identify ourselves with the oneness of spirit, and we realize the truth of the circumstances of our lives. We realize this truth even before we experience the physical manifestation of that which we desire. And although we have done this powerful mental work, it might not take too much for us to slip back into a state of fearing that which we have already proclaimed that it may not never materialize. To avoid sabotaging our treatment in this way, we must maintain the energy of our realization by knowing without hesitation that it already exists. The most effective way of doing this is to give thanks for it. Stating your gratitude in a spiritual mind treatment seals your realization. It's the icing on the cake. What you have declared to be is so because you have received it and given thanks for it. You claim, your claim on that which you affirm is solid and unquestioned because you have wrapped it in a blanket of authentic gratitude. When we recognize spirit and know that our lives are a divine expression of this one spirit, we must also recognize that all of life has been a divine journey. Spirit did not just show up one day. Everything that we have thought, said, and done throughout our lives is an expression of spirit. So, by acknowledging gratitude of the journey, this has brought us to here. We are knowing the absolute presence of spirit in all that we are and in all that we have experienced in the here and the now. Our gratitude is now complete, and so it is. As I speak this treatment this morning, I would like for you to make it personal for yourself. As a beloved creation of this infinite intelligence that I call God, I now direct my thoughts for the better. Knowing that I am one with this divine presence, I release anything that no longer serves me. I choose to freely love all people, and I lovingly forgive and forget any seeming injustice, hurt, or disagreeable experience in my yesterday. And I let it become my wisdom of the newness of now. My self-respect knows how much I give to the things that I love in this world. My self-esteem lets me admire and respect what I know I am, a manifestation of God in this world. As I speak this truth this day, and everything in it, my life is enriched and prospered by my willingness to love and to serve. With great gratitude, I know this is so. And together we say, and so it is.
Thanks so much, Carl. That was really terrific. I appreciate it. And also, Larry and Jamie Collins is here with us doing Native American flute. So thank you. That was special. It's now my privilege to introduce our speaker today. His name is Reverend Dr. Jim Lockard. He can be found at jimlockardtravels@yahoo.com. So I'm going to just wanted to get that out first because I'm going to say some of his bio, but not all, because Jim has done a lot and he is worthy of your attention. I'm going to urge you to go out to his website. Dr. Jim Lockard is an ordained minister, teacher, speaker, author, blogger, coach, consultant, and thought leader. He was raised in Baltimore, Maryland, and he is currently living in Lyon, France with his wife, Dr. Doreen Cotter Lockard. They are frequent presenters at international conferences in the spiritual, business, and academic fields. Jim teaches a 9-month course in metaphysical psychology to a small group of students each year. For 20 years, Jim has served as spiritual leader in the Centers for Spiritual Living in California, Florida, and Maryland. He is the author and co-author of several books. Again, I'm going to ask you to look at his website to get those. He has a blog, The New Thought Evolutionary, and it's very popular in New Thought circles and beyond. He is also a regular blogger for AGNT, the Association of Global New Thought. In 2003 to 2012, he served on the board of directors of the International Centers for Spiritual Living, and he's been on the advisory board of the Association of Global New Thought since 2005. I'm going to ask you again to go to his website, jimlockardtravels@yahoo.com, and read more about him and all the wonderful things he offers to our lives and to our world. I am so pleased to be able to present to you from Lyon, France, Dr. Jim Lockard.
Well, good morning. It is so great to be with you. I'm Dr. Jim Lockard. I'm speaking to you from Lyon, France. I have a photo or two to show you in a minute. And it's wonderful to be with you on this Sunday. I visited your community quite a while back when we had the old Religious Science International Conference in Nashville. And I've been to Nashville a few times. And I consider Dr. Mitch and Reverend Donna and some of the other folks there dear friends. So it's very wonderful to connect. So as I did mention, let me share my screen a bit. I did want to We're going to talk a little bit about the science of mind. I thought that would be a good topic to cover today, especially given the times we're in. And as I said, I'm coming from Lyon, France. It's the second largest city in France. I've been living here now with my wife, Dorianne, for about almost 3 years now. And this is just a few photos. This is looking across the Saône River toward the Old Town, which is just from, there have been people living on this spot for 45,000 years. It's kind of hard to imagine. And up that hill, there are Roman amphitheaters and all kinds of the amazing mosaic floors have been discovered and so forth. It's really quite, the history is quite remarkable. And most of the buildings you're looking at come from the 15th century. So this is City Hall, called Hotel de Ville, and the plaza in front of it give you a sense of kind of what the older part of the city feels like. And this is our kind of our central park. It's called Parc Tête de la Or, or the Golden Head. It's about 700 acres, and this is a lake that's sort of in the middle of it. There's a zoo, botanical gardens. It's only a few blocks from our apartment. Lyon is known as the gastronomic capital of France. Most of the major cooking schools are here, and the restaurant scene is, as you can see, quite amazing. So if you like food, you'd love Lyon. And just another shot of some of the meals we've had over the last couple of years. Just some, that goes from very inventive, very creative, very, ornate down to the Lyonnaise cuisine is very basic. This used to be the center of the silk industry. So a lot of people that worked in the silk industry needed good, solid food. So when the Lyonnaise cuisine is really quite remarkable. Okay. So let's talk about the science of mind. Dr. Holmes, in his wisdom, I think, created a philosophy that we can use regardless of what circumstances we find ourselves in. That, to me, is one of the great strengths of our teaching. What we often fail to do, and I fail to do it from time to time in my own practice, is prepare myself for adversity. I sort of work within whatever's going on, and I develop my consciousness to that level, and then something happens that's bigger than that, if you will, and I get knocked off balance. So what we want to do ideally is do our practices so that we are prepared, if you will, to be knocked off balance. We're prepared to step out into the skinny branches of life, if you will, whether we're doing that voluntarily or involuntarily. So I have this image from the other day I saw on the internet. I think it speaks to sort of where we are globally in terms of we're in the midst of this pandemic, the COVID pandemic. There's a recession coming as part of it and behind it that may, in fact, impact us in a more serious level or a more significant level, not more serious, more significant level. And we've, of course, got climate change happening and potential biodiversity collapse. So all this stuff is going on or is going to happen, plus whatever's going on in your own life. You may have illness, you may have family issues, you may have financial issues, whatever ad infinitum. So we are being called to express at a more powerful, higher, deeper level than in quote unquote ordinary times. Now there's no such thing as ordinary times. We know that everyone is going through whatever they're going through, but the idea is to develop a sense of connection, a sense of relationship, and ideally a sense of mastery of the kind of teaching that can carry us forward. So to me, that teaching is the science of mind. And I think it helps to look at myself and look at my circumstances using these three questions. The first one is, what am I to do? What am I to do about what's going on in the world? What am I to do about the fact that I can't really come and visit my children in the United States? What am I to do about the fact I have friends that are ill, that I have friends that have passed away? What am I to do about the difficulties with the political situation and all the other things? What am I to do about that? And that question is built on another question. What am I to know? What is my level of awareness in terms of what's going on? How well do I know myself and my own inner functions? How well do I know what's the truth? How have I developed the ability to discern good information from inaccurate information? Have I developed the capacity to know my teaching well enough that I can apply my spiritual technologies, if you will, in effective ways? And that question is built on another question: how am I to be? And the being nature is, who am I being in this moment? How have I developed the awareness of my, you might say, my soul nature, my authentic self, my capacity to express from a place of power, a place of love, a place of compassion? So, you know, I believe, and I think, I'm sure Dr. Holmes believed, that we already show up. We show up on this planet in this incarnation with access to everything we need to express a being nature that is sufficient for whatever it is we encounter. But that being nature has to emerge. It has to be encouraged. It has to be developed. And often our conditioning, which is negative and fear-based for most of us, inhibits the capacity or inhibits our ability to allow that greater self to emerge, which the greater self would be more than adequate to the challenges of life. But when it's inhibited, we find in some cases we are less than adequate to the challenges of life. And I think we're seeing that planet-wide. We're seeing huge issues that are arising of great complexity that we are having difficulty dealing with from a, not only an awareness level, but an emotional level. And the emotional level is of how we express is more connected to this third question: how am I to be? So let's take a look at these three things. And there are three keys that tie into these questions. The first one is awareness. We have to have, what awareness do we need? Well, I need to understand the teaching. I need to understand how mind works. I need to understand how to do spiritual mind treatment, how to meditate, how to study the teaching. And I normally, for this kind of awareness, we need to have some kind of a teacher. The minister is usually the one playing that role, and other people, practitioners. I need practitioners to help me to focus my consciousness when I'm unable to do it myself, and so forth. So I need awareness of the teaching. I also need awareness of what's going on in the world around me. Am I adequately informed? Am I accurately informed? And that's up to me to determine. The next element is one of the two main focuses of our teaching, this working with the law. This is the working with the law of mind. In other words, I create a consciousness through my thoughts and feelings that creates a belief system that becomes the filtering system, if you will, for how I respond to the world around me, how I respond to the world within me. So working with the law is learning to build a consciousness of prosperity, or a consciousness of good health, or a consciousness of compassion, and being able to react from that place. You can tell you've mastered something when it's part of your reactive mechanism, when it's something that automatically expresses from you. You know, sometimes as we're learning, as we're new to the teaching, we remember to do treatment after we've tried 5 other things when we have an issue in our life. But what if that going to treatment, going to that proper kind of thinking was a reactive mechanism that we did automatically? Can you see how that would make a difference in our lives? And the third key is courting the beloved. Courting the beloved is the mystical side of the teaching. It's connecting to spirit. It's that heart-centered space of recognizing we are all one. It's the beautiful aspect of knowing, despite appearances many times, that all is well, that we are part of something that is amazing, something that is infinite, something that is all-powerful, all-loving. So this working with the law and courting with the beloved sort of ideally work as sort of being braided together like a double helix of the teaching. And as we learn to use the law to manifest things and to be healthy and all that stuff, we're also working on our connection to the authentic self, the authentic soul, and the universal, that what we call spirit, or the creative intelligence of the universe, or the created love of the universe. Whatever term we give it is inadequate, but it's the infinite presence. So our awareness helps us to know what we have to do to develop our working with the law and our courting the beloved. And then we use our spiritual practices every day to develop along these two lines of intertwined spirituality. So looking at awareness, we say, what does it involve? Well, it involves self-examination. Am I willing to really look at myself? Am I willing to look at the stuff that I maybe have repressed, my shadow self? Am I willing to look at where I don't do so well and where I could do better and what I would like to do and what my fears are? So radical self-examination, I think, is an essential element of spiritual development. Then there's emotional maturity. Emotional maturity is, do I have dominion over my emotions? Am I able, they say when you're able to have dominion over your emotions, they call that character. Doesn't mean you don't have emotions. It means that you're able to direct your emotions. You're able to pay attention to them and know when they're going in a direction you don't want them to go into and make a course correction, you see. So emotional maturity is having those capacities to direct our emotional self in a positive way, which doesn't mean we don't feel negative emotions. It means we don't let them dominate, okay? And then empathy. Empathy is the result of emotional maturity, or a result of it. Empathy is the capacity to feel connected to other people. See, a step down that ladder would be sympathy. Sympathy's nice when someone's hurt or injured or having a rough time, but sympathy also has a certain amount of separation in it. I'm sorry that happened to you, and inside I'm thinking, I'm glad it's not happening to me. Empathy is we are one. Empathy is we have that connection, and compassion is only possible from a consciousness of empathy. In working with the law, we have some things to look at. We want to direct our thinking. We want to take dominion over that conscious mind so that because otherwise we'll just run away. Our mind will just run away with it from a reactive standpoint. So I want to, when something occurs in front of me, I have a reaction, then the directed thinking comes in. How am I responding to that reaction? Is that reaction what I want? Or do I want to do my work to change that reaction so that my reaction the next time this happens is more appropriate or more loving or more wise? Spiritual practices, of course, are essential. We're conditioning our mind. We're teaching ourselves how to think, how to feel, how to manifest, and we're getting very clear about what it is we want to draw into our lives and what it is we want to allow to express out of ourselves. And spiritual intelligence, which builds on emotional intelligence. Spiritual intelligence is more a sense of being in equanimity no matter what is happening, being able to understand things from a spiritual perspective. And a spiritual perspective means oneness, means connection, means love, means compassion. So those are three important keys to working with the law. According to the beloved, this mystical side, beginning with the development and the awareness, we have a divine connection. We're never going to have a better divine connection than we have now. You're never going to be more spiritual than you are now. But the awareness of this connection, the development of it, so that I am more living it rather than it's living through me, which it will do automatically. I want to live with it. I want to embrace it and understand it. It becomes a base for how I am being in the world. Spiritual poise is a result of this. Am I centered? Am I grounded? Am I able to deal with adversity in a way that lets me have the best of myself available? Because sometimes when we fly off the handle, we get all upset. We lose our capacity to be effective. We lose our capacity to be loving. We move into that separation. Fear is a state of separation. Love is a state of connectedness. So spiritual poise means that I'm aware of my divine connection, and it allows me to stay in that connectedness more frequently than maybe I have in the past. And then developing a mystical perspective. A mystical perspective means that we recognize that there's more to life than meets the eye. There's more to life than our senses can detect. It's not that we go off in, so-called woo-woo land and we lose our connectedness. We have to remain grounded. We want to understand science. We want to understand how things work in the world we find ourselves in, but also recognize that there are layers of reality that are beyond our sensory capacity. So it's sort of a balancing of recognizing these experiences. And meditation is the primary practice to develop our courting the beloved sense, sitting still, being quiet, letting things arise from within us, and developing these capacities, okay? Dr. Holmes in The Science of Mind said, one cannot be a good student of the science of mind who is filled with fear and confusion. He, pardon the he, but that's the way they did, and he or she must keep themselves in a state of equilibrium, in a state of poise, peace, and confidence, in a state of spiritual understanding. By spiritual understanding, it is not meant anything strange or unnatural, but merely that the belief in goodness must be greater than any apparent manifestation of its opposite, apparent manifestation. In other words, we see through conditions to a greater truth. And he goes on, it is this science of faith we are seeking to uncover, a definite technique that will conduct our minds through a process of thought, if necessary, to that place which the sublime minds of all ages have reached by direct intuition. So this is that sense of connection, that sense of depth, that sense of oneness that we are all seeking to realize. It's the ultimate reality that we often lose in our cognitive development, in our emotional development. You know, I don't care how well you were parented, you probably developed a shadow side that would serve you if you were to go into that shadow side and reveal some of the things that you repressed because they didn't seem to work. Sometimes we repress very good qualities. So maybe it wasn't safe to be intelligent in your house when you were little, or maybe it wasn't safe to be outspoken. So you shoved that inside and repressed it. So spiritual practice can help us to open that, to open to a greater realization that we would be more balanced, more connected, more able to use all of our faculties if we brought those qualities to the surface. And some of the negative qualities we repressed can also, when brought into a balanced person, into a balanced psyche, can give us greater capacities. You know, so there's a lot on the shadow. I highly recommend you do some reading on the shadow, the Jungian work. I think it's, and if you're really into it, and you really want to do some good stuff, have some Jungian therapy, because I think it's the one psychology that really ties into spirituality. I do a 9-month long course from September to June each year. And it involves looking at a lot of the Jungian, the shadow work. It involves looking at some models. It involves studying Joseph Campbell's mythology and Ernest Holmes. And then the students gather in France in a chateau for a retreat in June. We weren't able to do that last part this year. So we're going to hopefully be able to bring everyone from the last year and this year into France this coming year in 2021. But the point is, it's a 9-month course that really immerses you in this depth work, because I find that's what I needed. You know, I'd taken a weekend class here and there and listening to Sunday services and reading a book here and there doesn't necessarily give you the sustained kind of an approach that we tend to need, because we're trying to overcome years of conditioning. And there isn't a weekend seminar in the world that will overcome years of conditioning unless you take something from that seminar and apply it every day. So this idea of to the place which the sublime minds of all ages have reached by direct intuition. What he means is developing a sense of inner knowing, developing that awareness, working with the law, courting the beloved, and bringing them all together. So what am I to do? What am I to know? How am I to be? And you can look at this in any area of your life. What am I to do in relationship to what's going on with COVID-19, for example? What am I to know about it? How am I to be? What am I to do about climate change? And that's based on what am I to know about it? How am I to be? What am I to do about the fact that I'm in a relationship that isn't working? What am I to do? How am I to know? Or what am I to know? And how am I to be? And by thinking of it from this perspective and applying our spiritual practices and science of mind knowledge, we can work through to develop doing things that are effective. But the doingness has to be based on the knowingness and the beingness. Does that make sense? So imagine this sort of like a pyramid, and the foundation of the pyramid is beingness. I want to develop a positive, loving, empowered sense of beingness. And I want to know what's necessary for me to do that. And then I want to do things that are expressing from that place of a deep beingness and connection. So that's sort of how I see applying the science of mind to current world situations, to what's going on, to what's happening in your own personal life, to what's happening with your spiritual community. Your community is in a period of transition again, you see. And then with all the confinement and all the other things that are going on, we're moving through one of these transitional periods in time that is taking us from something that was to something that will be, and we're not clear on what will be. So my sense of my role, how am I to be through this, is to be grounded in spiritual poise, connected to the one, and curious. What am I to know? Well, I want to know the information I need to know. What's the best practices? Who are interesting people that I can be reading and studying and connecting with online or however? I want to know what's important for me to know. And I also want to know what is not mine to do. See, none of us is going to solve all the problems. You need to find what sings to your heart, if you will, what resonates within you, and work in that area. And what am I to do? Well, I'm to do my practices every day. I know that regardless of what the circumstances are. Perhaps mine to do is to become active in the community in some way in terms of a specific issue, Black Lives Matter or good governance or, ethical elections or whatever the issues are. Supporting healthcare workers, finding ways to give meaningfully, you see. And at the same time, I have to be taking care of myself because maybe you're out of work because of the situation now. Maybe your family is in disarray. Maybe you have friends who are ill, or maybe you're ill yourself. We also have to apply these same questions to those personal issues so that I can bring the best of myself to whatever it is I choose to approach. So in terms of this structure, I see the science of mind as primarily filling that what am I to know place. And it teaches me how I am to be and then what I am to do. But there's more to know. I need to be aware of the world around me. I need to find good sources for information and news. I need to be aware when I'm being manipulated. I need to develop that kind of a sixth sense. A good BS detector is essential these days because we can't know everything. The skill today is discernment, which means the ability to find accurate information in a tide of information. So these are things that our spiritual practices can help us to do. If you're interested, I have a blog that I write on fairly regularly on New Thought topics. It's called New Thought Evolutionary at .wordpress.com. But if you just Google New Thought Evolutionary or Google Jim Lockard, you'll find me. Love to have you connect and make comments on the blog and so forth. We reach several thousand people with every post. And it's something I enjoy doing. Is by kind of a big part of my ministry, the blog, and then that 9-month course, and then doing occasional speaking and so forth like this. That's sort of my ministry these days. Okay. So let's close with a prayer treatment meditation. And I'm going to say a prayer treatment. Meditation to me is a totally passive thing where you just sit and be. Treatment is the active part of the conversation with spirit. Meditation is the listening part. Treatment is the active part. So I invite you to join me in consciousness. And just take a nice deep breath. And this I know. The perfection of spirit is right here, right now. There is nothing missing, nothing limited, nothing obstructed in spirit's expression because it is in the process of co-creating and expressing as the whole universe. So I know there's nothing absent in spirit. And what I am coming to know in myself is that there is nothing absent in me. I am open and receptive to a greater idea, a greater potential, a greater realization of who and what I really am. I let go of limitation. I allow old ideas to dissolve. I shed the past as the snake sheds its skin so that I can go forward into a future unimpeded by past limiting ideas. I know that I am an empowered being. I am a spiritual being having a human experience. And I accept what is in my life as mine to do. Whatever shows up is mine. If it wouldn't be there otherwise. So I gather my strength. I do my work. I accept my truth. And I step out into the world empowered, open, curious, and willing to fail, willing to be made a fool of for looking so different than I might want to look. I give up defending my ego needs and I step into the breach of what needs to be done, bringing the best of myself at any moment and being willing to adjust as I go along. I am free, I am open, I am flexible, but I am firm in principle. I know the truth and I allow it to express. So I'm knowing the highest and best for this spiritual community, the Center for Spiritual Living Nashville. I'm knowing the highest and best for all of our New Thought family in the world. May we be the bearers of a greater truth to those who are willing to hear. May we do our job in that respect better than ever before, regardless of whether we're in the same building or watching through a computer or our telephone. It doesn't matter. It's all one. There's only one thing happening, and that's the unfolding, expressing, evolving nature of spirit. So I say yes to this. And I give thanks for this realization. I give thanks for this great teaching in my life. I give thanks for this great spiritual community. I give thanks for all of it. And with great joy and great love, I say yes to this good and release this word into that creative field that we call mind, knowing it is done unto us as we believe, and so it is. So once again, thank you so much. If you want to connect, you can connect through the blog. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter at Jim Lockard. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to connect. I'd love to, whatever I can provide. And I know that you all are doing an amazing job at an amazing place. And we're all in this together. So namaste. Thank you. Richest blessings.
Thank you so much, Jim. We so appreciate it. I want to take just a moment to talk about our guest speakers. I'm the one working to sort of solidify who our speakers are going to be on a regular basis. So I'd love to hear from you. If you have ideas about who speakers, that you know of, that you admire, that you think would be good for us, you can reach me at gregoryfishernashville@gmail.com. I'm going to give you my personal cell phone number because I'm wacky that way. It's 615-496-4324, text or call. I also would advise you could go out to CSLNashville.org, and there are ways there that you can contact, and those will come to me. But I'm looking forward to some of the people we've got coming up. We're going to hear from Reverend Rosemary Cathcart again soon, Dr. Dennis Merritt Jones again soon. Others that are coming up are some of our local people here within our church. Reverend Bonnie Barber will be speaking. Reverend Laura Landris will be speaking. Reverend Lynn Bennett will be speaking. I will be speaking. And then there's this guy you've probably heard of, Reverend Dr. Mitch Johnson, will be speaking to us in the next few weeks, actually. So looking forward to that. Also, Martha Creek is coming up, and some others. But also we'll be doing some services where we'll have music and message presented together. Jody Soland is coming in the next couple of weeks. Stowe Good, which is Stowe Daly and Karen Taylor Good, will be coming to us. Let's see. Annie Sims, our beloved Annie Sims, is coming to us. And who else? Charles Holt. I was able to reach him this week. So Charles will be coming to us. I've pretty much got things lined up between now and November, but I'm open to suggestions, and we can certainly kind of move some people around because some of the people are flexible. So that was just important for me to get out there. These folks are coming to us. I think it's a marvelous opportunity that we have to really just enjoy people from all around the world. I mean, Lyon, France this morning. So please be a part of helping us to find those speakers and get them on our schedule. Now I am delighted to be able to present again Antoinette and Gabe, along with Larry and Michael.
Thank you, Gregory. I'd like to thank Michael Petrick for showing up again today. Mike's good to see you. We haven't seen you in a while. Hope to see you more. And I want to just put out a thanks to Reverend Lynn for putting this whole thing together. Thank you. And for Ray Dryden for helping us out with the sound. It's been a godsend. Thank you all. And let's do some music.
All right, I co-wrote this with C.J. Jones, and it speaks to, oh, we have to get rid of this, Carl's talk on gratitude. But it's a sing-along, and I know y'all are at home, so I invite you in your homes to sing along.
Just wear your mask.
Just wear your mask. Actually, you're at home. You can take it off, right?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
October, Indian summer, the taste of ice cream, the color red, a warm bed, loving arms around me, birds singing in the morning light, the first day of spring, the best things in life are free. So be free, like a cloud in the wind, like a smile from a friend or a mountain breeze. Be free with your compliments and the time you spend and the good you see. We have every single thing that we need, and the best things in life are free. Good loving, giving something, a sweet memory, a fast song, an old dog, watching kids climb a tree, a lazy day, a prayer to pray, the sun shining down on me. The best things in life are free. So be free, like a cloud in the wind, like a smile from a friend or a mountain breeze. Be free with your compliments and the time you spend and the good you see. We have every single thing that we need, and the best things in life are free. Free, free, best things in life are free. Free, free, best things in life are free. Free, free, the best things in life are free. Free, free, the best things in life are free. When my time is up in this beautiful place and the band plays Amazing Grace, don't cry for me, 'cause I just got wings and I know my soul will be flying free, like a cloud in the wind, like a smile from a friend or a mountain breeze. Free, like a love you can feel, a path you can see leading home again. We have every single thing that we need. We have every single thing that we need, and the best things in life are free, free, free. things in life are free. Free, free, the best things in life are free.
All right. Thanks, y'all. You know, I had one job today. That was to move this mic so that it wasn't in Antoinette's way. Oh, one job. Okay. Anyway, Antoinette moved it on her own because she is a trooper. All righty. Hey, you know, just because we're not meeting here and we're not passing a plate doesn't mean we don't have financial expenses ongoing. Oh, yes, they are. So I really am encouraging you to go out to our website and make your contributions, your tithes and your offerings that you would normally make, that you would drop in that plate. Think about a virtual plate, okay? So right now, if you would take in your mind, and maybe even in your hand, your gift, and say with me this prayer: divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I give in abundance, and I receive. And so it is. Okay. I'm going to make a few announcements. I'm going to try to be quick here because our time is about up. We are so delighted to be in this sanctuary this morning, those of us that have gathered here. There's about 11 people here, but I'm glad to see those faces. I'm glad to see Antoinette and Gabe. I love seeing Lynn. Lynn and I are working together quite a bit these days. Michael, Ray, Carl, Larry, that scalawag. And we have 3 people that showed up today, and we let them in because, well, we're welcoming that way. So hi, y'all. Yeah, they have their masks on even as we speak.
3 in a row.
I know, 3 in a row. I will tell you that over the next few weeks, we have some plans about we can have 25 people, up to 25 people here right now. So we're looking at some ways that we might be able to see. Let's say right now there are 11 people here. That means 14 more people could be here. We would have to do that on a reservation basis, frankly. You'd have to contact us and say, I'm going to be there Sunday. To do that, then we would have to say the first people that announce that they want to come, first come, first served. Anyone else, we would have to say, we'll try to put you on for next time, if that's okay, if that's what you'd still want to be coming. But it's just what we're going to call a soft opening. And there is a committee working right now to look at other ways that we can make sure that we're being safe, that we're being legal, but also that we are being proactive in moving forward, knowing that at some point soon, let's say sooner than later, let's get that thought in mind, that we're going to be moving beyond this separation. Keep that in mind. If you'd like to be a part of that committee, again, reach out through cslnashville.org and let us know. Your board of trustees, not directors, trustees are very actively holding things together. We need your help. It's too much for 6 people to do. I just got to tell you, we are kind of a little bit ragged. I don't even want to tell you how many hours a day I put into being a part of that body and the work that we're doing to keep things together. If you have suggestions, if you have ways that you would like to be a part, let us know. CSLNashville.org, contact us, or I gave you my phone number earlier. Give us a call. Let's get involved. The Board of Trustees met last Monday night. We meet the 3rd Monday of every month. We sent out a notice through our membership list that we were meeting with a link to how you could be a part of that. We had several people join us. We always want our meetings to be open. It's a part of our new inclusivity initiative. It's very important that you be a part of what we're doing here, and we want to make sure that every voice is heard. Wednesday nights, Reverend Lynn leads a group on Zoom. If you want to be a part of that, he would welcome you. He interviews one of the practitioners, and there's a little bit of a message, and then there's some sharing. So that link is also in the news blast that goes out twice a week. So look there for that and be a part if you would like. What else? The third email to an extensive email list going out to ask people about their membership, asking people to verify that they want to continue to be members, or for some people, it would probably be becoming a member for the first time, knowing that whenever we're able to be together again, we're going to have the membership class, which is a requirement to be a member, but we're going to go ahead and let people become members now, knowing that that class will be in the future. Let me just say this is the third and final email that'll be coming out for people to do that, to do the sign up. Click, click, click. Very easy. I also want to remind you that at the bottom, there's a list of ways that you might be involved, things that you would like to do. You don't have to check that. I'm afraid that maybe some people have wanted to check to be a member, but thought, well, I'm not doing any of those things, therefore they haven't filled it out. You don't have to. Just let us know, yes, I intend to continue, or yes, I intend to become a member of CSL Nashville. And send that to us. So far, about 100 people have verified their membership or asked to become members. We're excited. We'd like to see that list grow. It's very important. All of this is in preparation for our annual meeting, which will be coming up soon if we can figure out how to do that. There's also a group looking at that. How we can make that annual meeting happen. More on that later. Lynn or somebody, anything else I'm leaving out? He's shaking his head. It's time to go. People, we love you so much. We are so delighted that you are a part of our community. We love that you are joining us on Sundays. Some people come and look at this during the week. They're not necessarily here now. Make comments below in the comment section. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know what you would like to see. Let us know what you would like this community to look like during this time and going forward. It's very important. Every voice heard, very important. Having said all of that, I'm going to lead us out with a treatment. Thank you, Larry. Take a deep breath with me, knowing that you're breathing in life. The essence, the energy. Feel it in you. Feel it running through you. That energy that is the one thing. Know that it connects you with everything. Know that it is the beginning of love. It is the beginning of life. It is the beginning of abundance. It is the beginning of healing. It is all. It is in all. It is through all. It is you. It is me. We are it. Oh, but not all of it. There's more. More that comes to us. More that can be used by us to create this life that we want, that we desire, that we create. And today I know this truth. We have all that we need to be all that we want. In this moment, right now, choose well. Choose well. Choose well. We are the creators. Anything that looks different than this, any thought in my mind that says something different is a misunderstanding, innocent misunderstanding. And I let it go. And I forgive myself for anything that ever taught me that that might be true. Anyone that ever taught me that that might be true. And I remember again, and I perpetuate it in my life, the momentum of my life, that I create. I am. And all is well. All is well. All is well. I am so grateful. I am so thankful. And in love, I appreciate this knowing, this living, this being. I release this treatment to the law of cause and effect, to the law of circulation, to the law of abundance. I know that it is so. At the very depth of me, I know that it is so. I let it be so. And so it is. I want to encourage you to have a fabulous week, and thank you for being here. See you next Sunday.
This program is a service of the Center for Spiritual Living Nashville. May your life be filled with joy and prosperity in every way. Learn more about our programs or contact one of our practitioners at our website, CSLNNashville.org. You may also want to follow us on Facebook at CSLNASH. You can make a big difference with your financial gift at lovecsln.com. Please share the link to this program with a friend and join us again next Sunday.